Imagine graduating high school, skipping the panic about student loans, and still landing a real career, one that pays you while you learn. Not a summer internship, not a dead-end, entry-level job that demands 3 years of experience. A real pathway where a company trains you, a school teaches you the theory, and the whole country treats the result as a respected qualification. That's not a fantasy. In Germany, it's normal. And if you're watching from America, this might feel almost unfair, because the United States has apprenticeships, yes, but not in the same mainstream, nationwide, culturally respected way Germany does. In Germany, this system is so established that it shapes entire industries. It's one of the reasons German manufacturing, engineering, and skilled trades remain globally competitive. It's also one reason many young people there can step into adulthood with a paycheck and a professional identity, instead of a mountain of debt and a vague plan. So today, I'm going to break down Germany's apprenticeship system in plain English. How it works, why it's respected, what people get wrong about it, and why America has struggled to build something comparable at scale. By the end, you'll understand the exact career path Germany offers, one that many Americans don't even realize exists, and you'll be able to answer one big question: could this ever work in the US the way it works in Germany? Let's start with the simplest explanation. Germany's apprenticeship system is often called the dual system. Dual means 2 parts. One part is real training at a company. The other part is vocational schooling. You learn on the job, and you learn in the classroom, and the two are designed to match. This is not go to school and then hope you get hired. It's get hired into training, and school supports the job you're learning. That one difference changes everything, because when you're in the system, you're not just a student. You're also a trainee employee with a training contract. You're building skills in a real workplace with real expectations. You're being shaped into the kind of worker that industry actually needs, not the kind of worker a brochure says the world needs. Now picture how this looks in real life. A teenager in Germany, often around 16 to 19, depending on their schooling path, finishes secondary school and starts thinking about the next step. Instead of asking only, which university should I apply to? They might ask, which apprenticeship fits me? They apply to companies the way you would apply for a job. They send applications. They do interviews. Sometimes they do short trial days where the company sees how they work. And if they're accepted, they sign a training contract. That contract is the beginning of the path. Then the structure begins. In many programs, the trainee spends part of the week at the company and part at a vocational school. A common setup is 3 or 4 days working and 1 or 2 days in school. Sometimes it's organized in blocks, several weeks at the company, then a block of school. The exact schedule depends on the trade and the region, but the concept stays the same. Learning is split between work and school, and both are required. At the company, you don't just watch. You train. You start with basics, tools, safety, processes, standards. You build muscle memory and practical confidence. Over time, you move into more complex tasks. And as you progress, you're expected to become more capable, more reliable, more professional. At vocational school, you learn the theory behind what you're doing. If you're training as an electrician, you study the principles of circuits and safety regulations. If you're training in logistics, you learn planning, documentation, and the systems that keep supply chains moving. If you're training in nursing-related roles, you cover medical basics, patient care, ethics, and procedures. This matters because it prevents the most common problem in workforce training: the gap between what school teaches and what jobs require. In the dual system, school and work are coordinated. You're learning the why while practicing the how. And here's the part that tends to shock Americans the most. You get paid, not a giant salary at the beginning, but a real wage that typically increases as you advance through the years of training. You're not paying to be trained. You're being invested in. So instead of spending years paying tuition and hoping a job appears after graduation, you're stepping into a pipeline that is designed to lead somewhere specific. Now, what happens at the end? In Germany, apprenticeships usually last a few years. During that time, there are checkpoints, evaluations, and structured requirements. You don't just hang around and eventually get a certificate because you showed up. There are exams. There are final assessments. There are standards that say, yes, this person can do the job. And those standards are the reason the qualification is respected. Employers know what the training includes. They know what the exams mean. So when someone completes the program, it carries weight across the country, not just at one company. That national recognition is a major part of the system's power. It creates trust. It creates portability. It creates a clear signal. This person is trained. Now let's address a big misunderstanding. Many people hear apprenticeship and immediately picture only construction work, plumbing, or welding. Those are absolutely part of it, but Germany's system is broader than that. There are apprenticeships in advanced manufacturing, mechatronics, automotive, and industrial technology. There are apprenticeships in IT, like systems administration, software-related roles, and tech support tracks. There are apprenticeships in office and business administration, accounting support, banking-related tracks, logistics, hospitality, culinary work, and healthcare-adjacent roles. In other words, it's not just a trade path. It's a structured career path for a wide range of middle-skill and high-skill professions that keep an economy functioning. And it's respected. That respect is another difference Americans often underestimate. In many American communities, there's a strong cultural message that success means college, and anything else is a backup plan. Even when trades pay well, there can still be a stigma. People will say, that's a good job, but still treat it as less prestigious than a university degree. Germany, in many cases, doesn't operate the same way. Skilled work is treated as skilled work. A person who completes a rigorous apprenticeship is not seen as someone who couldn't make it to college. They're seen as someone who chose a practical path that leads to competence and stability. And because the system is standardized and embedded into the economy, the path is visible. It's normal. It's not hidden. That visibility changes how teenagers think about their future. It changes how parents advise their kids. It changes how employers plan for long-term staffing. And it changes how society values training. Now, let's talk about why this feels like a career path America doesn't have, even though apprenticeships do exist in the US. The United States absolutely has apprenticeships, especially in union trades and some industries. But the difference is scale, structure, and mainstream acceptance. In Germany, the apprenticeship route is widely recognized and widely used. It's a normal, central part of how the country creates skilled workers. In the US, apprenticeships are often fragmented. They can be excellent, but many people don't know how to access them, how to compare them, or even that they exist outside of certain industries. And because education and credentials are managed differently across states and sectors, there isn't always the same kind of national consistency. So when Americans hear about Germany's system, what they're really reacting to is a feeling of certainty. A system that connects school to work. A system that pays you to train. A system that leads to a recognized qualification. A system that isn't treated like a hidden option. Now here's the crucial question. If Germany's system works so well, why hasn't America just copied it? Because building this kind of system requires more than good intentions. It requires alignment between schools, employers, and national standards. First, you need employers who are willing to train, not just hire. Training takes time and money. Many companies would rather hire someone who is already skilled, even if it's harder to find that person, because training someone from scratch feels risky. Second, you need education systems that coordinate with industry. That means vocational training that isn't treated as second class, and schools that can update what they teach to match what the workplace needs. Third, you need a culture that respects multiple paths to success. Because if families believe that apprenticeships are only for other people, participation stays low. And if participation stays low, employers invest less. And if employers invest less, the system never becomes mainstream. It's a cycle. Germany, over decades, built a different cycle, one where employers expect to train, young people expect the path to exist, and society expects the qualification to mean something. Now, to be fair, Germany's system isn't perfect. There are trade-offs. One trade-off is early specialization. If you choose a path young, you might feel locked in. You can change directions later, but it can require additional training, extra qualifications, or a bigger reset. Another trade-off is competitiveness. Certain apprenticeships, especially in popular companies or high-demand fields, can be competitive. Not every applicant gets their first choice. Another trade-off is that not every apprenticeship leads to the same income ceiling. Some paths lead to very high earnings, especially with experience and advancement. Others lead to stable but modest wages. The system offers opportunity, but it doesn't guarantee the same outcomes for everyone. Still, even with those trade-offs, many people see something in this model that feels missing in America: a clear bridge between youth and a respected career. And this matters right now more than ever, because the modern world is facing a skills gap. Companies struggle to find workers with practical training. Young people struggle to justify the cost of traditional education. Families worry about debt, and entire industries worry about who will keep things running 10 years from now. Germany's apprenticeship system is one answer to that problem. Not the only answer, but a powerful one. So what could America learn from it, even if the US can't copy it exactly? Here are the biggest takeaways. 1. Connect learning to real jobs earlier. Not just in senior year. Not just with one career day. Real partnerships between schools and employers that lead to actual pathways. 2. Make credentials portable and respected. When a qualification means the same thing across regions, employers trust it more, and workers can move with it. 3. Normalize, earn and learn, beyond traditional trades. The future isn't only in hammers and hard hats, it's also in IT, healthcare, logistics, energy, and advanced manufacturing. Apprenticeships can thrive there too, but only if people see them as legitimate. 4. Change the cultural story. Success isn't one road, it's multiple roads, and the fastest way to strengthen a country's workforce is to treat skill as honorable, wherever it's learned. Now let me bring this back to you. If you're a teenager watching this, or a parent, or even someone thinking about switching careers, the question isn't, is college bad? The question is, why should there only be one respected path? Germany shows that a country can build a system where practical training is structured, paid, and respected, where a young person can become skilled without gambling their future on debt. And even if you never move to Germany, understanding this model can change how you think about work, education, and opportunity. Because once you see a system that's designed to produce skilled people on purpose, it becomes harder to accept a system that produces skilled people by accident. So here's my question for you. If America had a nationwide, respected apprenticeship system like Germany's, where you could earn while you learn and finish with a qualification employers truly trust, would you choose it over a traditional college path? Tell me in the comments, what career would you train for, and why? And if you want a follow-up video, I can cover the most popular German apprenticeship careers, the ones that lead to the best long-term pay, and how the system compares to university life in Germany. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's stressed about the college or nothing trap. Because the truth is, the world needs skilled people, and there's more than one way to become one.